Hello, this is Faltrify. I am starting from a fresh save because I wanted to try playing some with not max level characters, with not max level Forge, and specifically the goal here is to try and figure out some advice for new players who won't have all the cards yet, and figure out the best ways to deck build without relying on any specific upgrades. So this is a fresh save. Because it's a completely fresh save, I don't even have access to deck building yet, and I definitely don't have access to card pool building, so it will be a bit before we get there. So if the first couple runs may be a little bit boring, but hopefully they shouldn't take too long because I have played this game a little bit. So be prepared to watch me just completely faceplant due to hubris, mostly is my guess. I don't think it's worth even getting doing the freeze here. Oh, start fast mode on. Alright, yeah, Corrupted Blast seems okay. Loot the backpack, block seems trash, we'll eat that. Get the upgrade, put it on, I think, Pierce. This is depth 1, so shouldn't be too difficult. Let's go. Unfortunately, we can't freeze and pierce. I think we just want to set up and do damage. Because if we can't freeze yet, I think at this point it's worth freezing to stop those buffs from going up. I don't know what buffs. I don't know the depth 1 movesets. I'm basically just counting on the fact that because it's depth 1, I can just lay out cards and be fine. Okay, so I can chill and then I can get my double pierce off. Pretty nice. One of the big downsides is because I am level 1 route and I do not have access to the extra growth yet, which is a bit disappointing. So, bonk. Bonk. Okay, so we go. Not too bad. Mana's tempting. Just getting more damage is tempting. I think we split the difference. We take that, sure. And then we upgrade. Oh, right. We just... I really don't love that none of these will be clean plus 2 mana upgrades. I also really wish that was a meditate. Upgrading to the Pierce makes sense. Getting more mana also kind of makes sense. Yeah, I think we're just going to get more damage. I think we remove the Magic Blast. Probably best bet was just like beeline events and just into this quickly, but I do not actually know offhand what the difference is in terms of how much XP we get from elite fights in this on this depth. So that conveniently gets rid of that evade. So I would love to get the freeze and pierce off here because that's a lot of damage. That'll be 32, but then we'll be bleeding. Yeah, well, that's just so much damage. I had to go for it. And we can't quite get both kills. Let's see. Kill. And instant. So there's an evade set up, but hopefully, yep, this is gonna be fine. Okay. I think we take more mana. I think we cut. Kind of don't want to cut anything. I think we're fine for now, and it's fairly short, so. Right, it doesn't actually set up a bunch of plated on this difficulty. Alright. Playing on low difficulties is easy, it turns out. Who knew? Yeah, we'll take the toughen. I don't think we got anything. Sure. Hey, we actually get adept. And we have a way to get shield. Let's get this cut. I don't think we're too scared of that that part. I think we're most scared of them stacking a bunch of buffs. I think that's the biggest threat to us is yeah, we'll draw 3 cards. This fight may end up going a bit long. We'll see. It is nice that we were able to take out one of them just immediately. Because the biggest way that this fight goes poorly on any difficulty is if you can't kill any of them in the first couple turns and they're able to just start setting up, it can get pretty rough. But they don't do purity on depth 1, which helps a lot as well. And we're getting shield from the aura of protection that we set up. Oh, we can actually set that up and do that. Sure. We can freeze, but we don't really have a reason to do that. We're just going to punk for damage. Now, that's annoying. Set the card draw for next turn. Come on, any damage. That'll do. Alright, there's depth 2 unlocked. There is exactly 1,000 XP because we are playing, because that was our first run, and you're just guaranteed, it just automatically bumps you on XP for your first run. So, alright, we are in town. I'm not going over all the stuff that, like, if you were watching a YouTuber who was, like, doing this for real for the first time, they probably spend a lot of time talking about, you know, their impressions and stuff, but I've played this game a bunch, so not really concerned. Yes, that's all very pretty. All right, we do get access to the deck builder now, so that's nice. We can't unlock other characters yet. We are going to go ahead and move on to depth 2 because I'm not a coward. So let's start by clearing and see what all we've got to work with. First off, mana. Definitely want chilling focuses. Predict is pretty okay. I'm so-so on Predict, and the reason why is that I don't like the delay on it, although it is still technically 3 mana, which makes it a pretty good option. The question is whether we want the mana shield. So as far as shield options go, so normally what I would do if I wanted just a little bit of shield and healing is I would put in either a restorative shield or like an invigorate, but those aren't options for us. And I also am a fan of the heavier shield options like glacial plating, or there's a 5 mana one, but we don't have either of those. So I kind of like Amend as a way to do triaging, because the Mend will mean we only spend 1 card on it. We don't have to spend a bunch of cards on the block, and we can just play it when we need it. On depth 3, this is a lot more risky of a play, but I think here this may actually work out. We'll see. So one of the other questions, of course, is so Hobble. It's my favorite defensive card. I really like having 1 infuse. And then the other question is how deep do we go on Frost? Because I think one of the easiest mistakes you can make with Rauden is if you go all in on like the chills and such, you can find yourself struggling once you reach a point where where the enemies are like out of range of you being able to freeze them. And so you're just kind of struggling to finish them off. I think I do kind of want like one mana shield. I kind of like want one more mana card because I like being pretty heavy on mana, especially if, because I'm kind of tempted to like run Drain Life because it is 15 damage, which just, that is just a lot of damage. And I'm kind of trying, I'm dabbling with the theory that I've had where basically the idea is that in general there are benefits to playing more expensive cards because it does more for the cost of one card. So like, to give an example, it's like Ice Blast is a Magic Blast stapled to a Chill. Like it is the same cost as playing both of them, and you get the same effect as both of them, but it only looks like it's the same cost. It's the same amount of mana, but you are actually only paying one card instead of two, which is a very real upside. However, that does mean that you can't split it, and it does mean that if you can't get to 6 mana, you can't play it at all, which obviously can be a problem. Other things I'm looking at, because we don't have Adept, the Haunted Memory as a way to apply Vulnerable is tempting. That does conflict with the Hobble a bit, though. I'm also considering a Moonlit Reverie, because Moonlit Reverie gives us a way to get a little bit more growth, and it does give us a little bit more wits, so that we can consistently draw extra cards. I think I do like one of those. We have no ways to deal damage besides the Infuse, so we want at least... I could just go 2 Ice Blasts and a Pierce. That seems okay. I kind of like the Introspection, but I don't think our mana is quite good enough to support the Introspection. We can always try something and see what happens. Find out how good I am at compensating for my mistakes. Because I am also considering like a Drain Life because it just hits pretty hard. And then that means that I'm curious. I kind of want to see how it'll go. Yeah, we'll see what happens. This may end up being a bad idea, but I want to find out. My characters are always in red and white. That's just a thing I do. Like that. Alright, let's do... So I like picking up the Mana Dance there. If we go right, so basically the trade-off is if we go right, then we get a shot at Icy Cure and Mana Dance. If we go left, we get a shot at Shocking Grasp and Mana Font. Because I don't think I care that much about the cards this guy can drop. I definitely don't care about the things that can drop. But it's kind of a tough call. We can actually use the Arcane Weakness if we get that from here, which is fun. And we'll just go right. Okay, we are now on Death 2, so we'll require a little bit more effort. Yeah, we're actually just going to eat damage here, but that's fine. So we can honk both of them. I'm doing that because it'll be 15. So the one downside to not having any small damage is that it does mean that we have to pay a lot of mana to get our kills. But I think that's fine. And I kind of wanted to see this Lacerating Strike. I do want the Mind Seed as well, but I think the Lacerating Strike is more valuable to us right now. Okay, so there's sometimes a stage 2 there. I thought you always got the stage 2 if you didn't have the condition, but apparently not. We will increase our max mana. Freeze that one and then just dunk on it. Guess it's pretty close to this kill. And then I kind of like just doing this. That may not be correct, but so the other advantage of this Mana Shield is that it means that when we have that frail, we can just not care, which is always fun. How much mana do I have? I have enough to do everything. Do that. Thank you. a little bit of damage. Vulnerable. Freeze you. Weaken. So we are now at enough growth that we are getting extra mana each turn, which is nice. So this is the one that needs to die. And then that one also can die. Oh, we can just kill both of them. That works. Yeah, I don't hate having another source of frost and weak. That seems okay. I don't think we have enough mana to really support the card draw. Because that is the other thing about having this more expensive deck, is that it means that we are less dependent on card draw to get maximum value every turn. So that's always fun. Yeah, unfortunately, we don't have a way to get vulnerable to the backline. But we can get freezes on both of them. If you're wondering why I didn't play the Moonlit Reverie, because I am dumb and can't count. Let's just punk you out of existence. We are weak, but that is counterbalanced by the fact that that chump is vulnerable. Does that give us the extra? Yes. Not that it mattered. Right. Okay, so we haven't done that yet. Do that, get some health back, and then we can honk you out of existence. Yeah, this is working pretty well. I'm not completely sure that the Drain Life is what I want, but I'm not sure it isn't either. Yeah, sure, we'll take that. It's not great for us right now, but I think we're fine with this. I would love to pick up another mana card. Hopefully, I'm hoping to see a Mana Eruption here, I think. Let's go. You just play in damage. What was the other card that I didn't play? The Mend? Okay, yeah. Totally fine with not playing the Mend. Oh yeah, that's the other thing about having the expensive deck is that, like, I am more okay with not playing the Mend because I am more likely to just not necessarily need it. Or I'm more likely to not have spare mana that I could have spent on it anyway. And we can take away at least one of these frenzy stacks, which is nice. We could... Sure. We got a little bit of extra mana. And so kind of my thought process on the Cursed Horseshoe is that, like, because we're not playing Arcane to ourselves, because he's not playing Arcane to us, the Arcane's just free. We just don't care. I can play weak to make sure that happens, and we can take away his powerful stack. Slowly chunking our way through. Yeah, we have not taken any damage yet, and we're not going to take damage this turn. I would say that this so far has been a very successful experiment. Yep, nope. You can't hit us. I forbid it. I want to get this freeze out because it's going to do that whole deal, but I also really want to get vulnerable out. Now let's do vulnerable and an evade stack, and oh, I still have enough mana. I can't count. I don't know why I thought I wasn't going to be able to do all that. Counting is very difficult, it turns out. Yeah, we'll take the Elemental Complex. Yeah, we are still in this awkward position where, like, I don't have any good mana upgrades. That's not that good. That's okay. That's not that great. Upgrade's fine, but I think we may just do this upgrade just because it ensures that even if we are, I think this ensures that if we are weak, we will be able to get off stuff. It is also very tempting to just get the Chilling Focus, but I think we just go with the Elemental Complex. I still don't think we need to cut anything. And yeah, we're going this way. I should have played that first. No, well. Bonk. Let's see what we get. Sure. Get this extra 15 damage. Or not extra 15. We get 5 extra damage from being frozen, is what I meant. Okay. So we are definitely playing this. I think it definitely makes sense to play that. And then I think doing this also makes sense, since it's going to do like a good amount of damage. I suppose I sequenced that wrong. I had lethal there if I hadn't sequenced poorly. Oh well. That won't kill you. It's a little bit awkward. Because I can't kill this without, while also dealing with this. Yeah, well. That does at least get rid of my frail stack, which is nice. We are going to be shocked here though, which is unfortunate. But we are going to be able to evade the hit, at least, which is something. Oh, we are frostbitten. Rude. There's mana shield to deal with our... And yes, this is kind of what I mean about Mend. Like, we took all that damage, it's all gone. It's all gone. Timing didn't matter. If this had happened in a later fight, we still would have been fine. Just don't care. Caring is for people who are not us. This card's so bad. This card is so bad. That card's not great either. We have weak already, and I don't know that we're ever getting that high. This may be actually better, because it does also reduce the amount of status we take. I don't think there are any runes in the base card pool. This basically is only valuable if we fight specifically Frost Gorgon in the next area, I think. I think we'll pass. Because, yeah, we're not going to get a Frost Rune from here. Let's see what we got. So this is one downside to the one of Infuse, is that against like this enemy specifically, that Frost Barrier is a bit of a pain in the butt. We do have this Lacerating Strike to mitigate it a little bit, but... So, I can't freeze myself outright, so I would rather just not play anything, so that we will not get frozen and we can freeze ourselves on our turn. Which means that, although it looks like the correct play here would be to... it looks like the thing that I would want to do, right, is... oh, the very nice thing here is this evasion is before I hit, which is... So I will actually get to evade if I play that. So like if I do this, the problem is we will get frozen by this Frostbite, and we will skip our next turn, which seems... Well... I'm deciding if that's worth it. You know what, we're going to do it, because I still get to set up that, and I still get to drain life for a bunch. That seems okay. Yeah, and then we take a little bit of damage, but because we had that evade stack, wasn't too bad. Right, this is going to take us below our recovery threshold, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we didn't get hit too badly. I don't think I want to play that Moonlit Reverie, because I think if I can, I do want to mend probably this turn. Mend. And just count on finding lethal next turn. So this will reduce the amount of frost we take. And that's actually just going to get us a skill. Alright, yeah, so we only lost... We did lose 5 of our max recoverable, but it's not too bad. I really like Mental Growth. I also really like the Icy Cure. I think we take the Icy Cure as just another defensive heal option. Should help really secure things. Hooray. We actually do... So normally, when I'm playing on my main save, I of course don't really care at all about any of these resources. But here that's actually, I guess, something. I don't know. Those events are still just kind of underwhelming to me because it's like, oh boy. arbitrary amounts of currencies that don't affect the run. Yay. So we do only have one rest. We will get a second when we beat this. Yes, I am so confident that I'm saying when, not if. That is going to reflect, which is annoying, but we should still be fine. Ideally, I would love to be able to get a freeze. Yes. Okay, because getting this freeze off is very important because it means that we don't have to deal with the summons. And yeah, let's go ahead and get that off, which means that we can hit it safely without having to deal with the crackback. We can play that, but it doesn't do anything for us. So we're going to evade this hit. So we get to keep our shield, which is nice because we don't really have great ways to get it back. I say as I use an effect that generates shield. But then I immediately spent it. We stopped that heal, which is nice. I say as though it was tactical instead of me just like throwing out cards, but it was absolutely just me throwing out cards. Yeah, I probably could be saving these shocks for better use, but I'm not a very tactical person. Tactics are scary. Sounds complicated. We're just going to evade this hit. We are now bleeding, but apply vulnerable. We are going to donk donk. Yeah, no dreams. Dreams crushed. All right, well that's fine. There's going to be a summon, but we should be able to kill this guy. Yeah. It's frozen, so we don't even have to kill him this turn if we don't want to. I think it makes sense to go ahead and secure the kill while we can. And we're going to evade the other hit. This should actually get that kill. Because we get the full 20 damage because it was, go ahead and get shield back. Because it was frozen, or because it was frozen and shocked by the time that the arcane detonation went off, which is why it took so much damage. And get a shield back. And get this kill. I don't love Wall of Thorns. I don't super love Magic Cannon either, but it is decent. It is pretty good cheap damage. It does have to spend some time cooling off, but that seems okay. That seems fine. And we're definitely upgrading the Magic Cannon because it means that the Vent Off is much, much cheaper. The Moonlit Reverie I might want to cut that, but also, no, I think we cut the Icy Barrier. I just don't love it. So here's the Frost Gorgon I was talking about. Normally be like, oh man, Dragon Form, but we will not be getting Dragon Form because the game will be ending after this fight ends one way or the other. So, which of these would we rather fight? I really do like the cards that this drops. I do like it, like picking up all of these potential elite fights. I don't love fighting that. I'm deciding if I want to fight through these two or if I want to just take the event. Because the Natha card, one of the Natha cards is fine. The other one is less so. The Chimera fight can be a little bit scary, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Everything's gone well for us so far, so what are the odds that we just abruptly faceplant? Pretty much zero. I think we actually start by drawing. That. Nope, I was hoping we were going to get the freeze because I wasn't paying attention. We are going to get one hit here. And so the big thing with the Cursed Horseshoe is like, yeah, we're totally fine. Like, we played a bunch of cards, but we're never going to get Arcane applied to us for the rest of the fight, so who cares? Who cares? Certainly not us. That kills you. And then let's just blow you up. And we're going to evade this hit. And let's do that into that. the heal didn't do anything for us, but like the shield means that we were able to deal with the burn a little bit. So my options are, I can freeze one of them, or I think we pitch the hand because, yeah, that's kind of what I was hoping to see. I can't quite kill that. I can shut you down. And you're at least weak, so... And I'm going to evade the one hit because I played the other thing, so... Everything's going pretty well, I would say, in my opinion. We are going to take some damage here, but... Because, like, I'm going to do that, which means that we're only going to take 1 damage, but we did take damage, technically. Is that... Yes, so here's the plan. I just did that to heal for 1. Then we go boom. Let's take that. I would have taken the Burning Focus if it had been offered, but it wasn't. We get to upgrade any card. Mind Seed upgrade seems pretty good. Yeah. Because Mind Seed means that we get not only 3 growth, but also 4 mana. Definitely going to do that this turn. Definitely going to set up Mighty. Yeah, that seems okay. This is less okay. Well, actually I suppose this is not the worst. Because we will only take... So the funny thing is they get Ice Eater, and we froze ourselves, then we unfroze immediately before they could even do anything, which is kind of funny. And then we go boom. And boom again. And now we only have to do 8 damage, and they're shocked and vulnerable. So any of our damaging cards get us there, even the Infuse. And yeah, Ice Shard seems okay. And then we will immediately upgrade the Ice Shards, which does 1x5. Yeah, this was a very good pair of nodes. We may take either Silga card here. I don't think we care about getting... Actually, I am kind of curious, like, if Mighty will go up, will be up. Okay, so no. I was curious if I was going to round it up anyway, even though it would only go to a very small number. Let's do that to you, because that's a freeze. Let's do this to see what we find. That's a kill. And then we end the turn. Man, Mighty is so good. Because that's why, the Mighty is why that did 20 damage. And you just get dunked on. Alright. This is a good place to be going into the Chimera. Do I want the Mana Blossom? Kinda. I think we take the Against the Odds. I think it's just like having a little bit of shield is fine. Having extra max shield is nice. Chance of critting on anything is nice. Alright, so we are going to get shocked probably several times over the course of this. I should have done that first. Oh, but it's not shock barrier. Right. I'm thinking of the fight at the end of this chapter area. We will end up getting shocked a bunch because the shock barrier is going to cause problems. But this fight, we are much better able to control because it shocks us when it hits us, not when it... We are going to get debuffed. We are going to take some damage here, but we're evading one of the hits. Can actually be enough to give us a freeze again. Yep. And then this is just barely. Let's pitch. I don't like any of those. Let's kind of look out. Yeah, let's play vulnerable. Let's do this. And that will get 15 more. And go ahead and get a little bit more growth, which actually is going to pay for itself to bring our mana back. Take 1 whole damage. Oh, news. Whatever will we do? We're going to take some damage here. And we will get shocked again. Or I think this is actually, no, that was the first time I actually got shocked. So we are actually going to eat a bunch of damage here. Unless we can get a freeze, but it looks like we'll probably be able to get a freeze. Oh no, we were 1 short because of the shock barrier. Okay, so we took a bunch of damage there. It's a little bit unfortunate. Alright, so I don't actually hate that it lived at 1, because that means if we find, like, yeah, our mend, then we can mend. And then close off with that. Alright, so yeah, we lost 16 health. I don't love that. I do like that, though. Yeah, I like having access to Tough. Tough is a very good defensive buff, and the Shock Rune is whatever. But now that we have 2 cards that provide Rune, Swift Strike Plus doing 4 hits, that seems worthwhile. Against the odds is pretty medium. I'm still like, I keep going back and forth on cutting the against the odds. Now we'll keep it. Yeah, we'll do 2 more elite fights. Well, the great thing is, we're going to do at least 1 elite fight, and then depending on how it goes, we can choose not to do a second one. You are not going to get to set up your plated thank you. Is that going to kill? Not quite. I think it may be worth it to pitch these 3, because if I do, I think I can kill this. Yeah. And I can do it while also still getting out the weekend as well. Unfortunately, oh, okay, we do actually still have Shock Rune, not that it's going to matter. So we can conveniently just chip away at all of that, and then heal back, evade the hit. Got the evasion back from. So we may actually not need the mend, because I think we've only played it once. I stand by it as an interesting attempt. I think I like, there was the one fight that it did heal us a whole bunch, but it helped that we picked up. We got the Icy Cure, which is a relatively rare card, and we got the. Oh man, this is great because look at that! All those. That may look like nothing good happened there, but it took away all of those stacks of evade. And we don't. Burning Focus? No luck. Hard Strike seems okay. Sure, that actually makes the mend. That makes the mend incredible. Okay, so the mend now provides 24 shield. Even we'll do that first, but yeah, just like look at that. Look at that. We don't even care. We tanked. This is a problem potentially, but I mean it won't be because we're gonna freeze. But you know, if we couldn't freeze, it's a problem. Bonk, 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 bonk. And I think you just set up weak and just keep this thing locked down for a couple turns, because I think the Natha is the big threat here. Seems like an okay turn to draw some cards. We can get bonus damage. And go plonk, 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 plonk. And then dunk on it for a bunch and get some bonus shield. And yeah, the Icy Cure also is just going to give us a bunch of bonus shield from the overheal now. That's incredible. So we have the Mighty Silk, we lost the Tough, so I'll go ahead and do that, and then this should actually do quite a bit. Okay. We ideally would like to stop the summon from happening, and it looks like we will be able to, because we can do this. into that. And it was frozen and dead, which, everything we could have wanted. And we can indeed get this freeze, and we had the evade anyway, so. We actually have a decent amount of growth finally. It's a slow process, but we get there. Playing that partially to get a little bit of extra shield, mostly just because it was bugging me that we had the frail. Yeah, that's now 10 frost, which is a pretty good amount. I know some of that's because of the, whatever, but... Yeah, okay, we can definitely afford, I think, to fight another NASA. Or another Alpha Silga. Lucky Charm. This is actually, again, the whole thing where overhealing is incredibly valuable. The Brainstorm's also solid, but like I really don't want to be extra shocked against the Emerald Dragon. That seems like our only lose condition here is if we get extra shocked against the Emerald Dragon. It just does mean things to us. Alright, so we now have 3 temporary powerful. Let's... Which does mean that this will do a lot more damage. We can do that. Pop it. Let's draw some cards, because if we can draw... That wasn't really terribly exciting. But it did get us out extra powerful and filling focus, so... It's not nothing. Sure. Does 7x for that seems pretty good. Alright, so now we just need 20 more damage. And we can shield to deal with this if we need to. I don't think we're going to. But the advantage of doing this now is that it will get credit for this thing being alive. Alright, and now we take not lethal. Let's go. Sorry, I got distracted by Discord. Oh, what else is new? Setting up this freeze. Let's see if we can find some mana. Alright. Do a little bit more damage. Get off 20 damage here. Alright, and we prevented the summon, so now we just have the last one left. Which should not be too difficult. Boom. Let's play that first. Curious. Okay, so we do get only the half amount there. I was curious how Frail and the Overheal would interact since things. I think that's more damage. Let's go that. Into lethal. Alright. So we get to go in. I think the next thing is an event. This is still funny. I don't know that we want a second one. Let's use our reroll. We don't have anything else to do here. Yeah, that seems good. And then we will cut. The Mind is still hilarious amounts of shield. I don't think we need the against the odds because of the overheal thing. And because this is only a one enemy fight. So this should be the last enemy. I don't know why this normally lights up if you're right before the last fight of an area. We'll take a temporary buff, sure. No. I think I'd rather just have the max shield. We will take extra max health. I'm not super worried, but, you know. Strange things happen sometimes. And we are going to be shocked a whole lot, as I think I mentioned. But also, as I mentioned, that overheal item is doing gross things. So, I think I want to set up that evasion. And we can actually freeze here, which will preserve our evasion for later. We can not quite, because we don't have adept, and it's not, oh, well, we can do that. supplies arcane. Fine with that. And it lost its barrier, so we're okay with just punching it for a little bit. We are going to have to kind of shock ourselves here, but... Yes, I could have, I could have, like, pitched all of them, but I wanted them out of my deck, and I'm not too worried about taking damage here, because we're going to evade this hit. I'm going to evade the next hit, too. And that is... Yeah. We could have blocked it even if we hadn't evaded it. We're going to evade one of these hits. Let's go weak. Now we're going to block the other hit, so that seems fine. Going to consume one of our shock. Didn't do that much, but primes the arcane for whenever we draw. Here's more what? Spin to offense, see what we find. Alright. Take 2 evade from that. I don't love that going off, but what am I going to do? Not like I have anything I can do about it. And yeah, once again, just this mountain of shield. I think we would have been fine without the, but thanks to the, I think this would have saved us anyway. But definitely the overheal shield thing just completely ensured we were never in danger. And then we can finish it off like that. Alright, so that is our first 2 fights. And we are level 3. Okay, cool. I was kind of worried that we were going to, that it was going to take a bunch of runs, because I wasn't sure how long it was going to take us to hit level 3. But we won the single death 2 run, that was enough, so we're good. I've already reviewed the game. So yeah, we have all this ether that we have committed not to spending. I don't really want to buy market upgrades. I do really like that. I do really like that as well. I don't like having one more rest supply to fall back on, because that's a fairly cheap upgrade on purpose. So yeah, we could open 4 packs. We are specifically not doing that. So I'm going to pause this real quick to do some chatter on Discord. But I don't want to end this video yet, because I do want to actually do the deck build. All right. Let's go edit deck. Yep, sure can. I sure can edit it. Let's just chuck everything and then start from scratch. So we get 9. So because we have access to depth 3, we get the full 30 cards. If you had struggled with depth 2 a bit more than I did, you may only see 25 cards here. If you somehow keep flubbing depth 1, I mean, I don't want to... Everybody comes to this at a different level, you know. I don't really think that necessarily makes you an awful person, but it is interesting that you... I commend you for sticking with it for the number of runs it took you to get to level 3 without ever clearing the first area. Let me put it that way. But if you had managed to do so, you will only have 20 cards and 5 epics. So epics are the gold ones, because, of course, gold isn't rare. Silver is rare for some reason. But I've complained enough about that. So I'm going to assume that we are challenging depth 3. So the choices that I make will reflect that. So we're going to start by adding Mana Eruption, because I really, really, really like having a mana card in my epic pool, because sometimes you just need mana. Dispel Magic is pretty much a mandatory pick for access for depth 3. Aether Storm is amazing for everything, because it upgrades into being even more amazing. Flash Freeze applies 10 frost to any enemy. That one's okay. I still don't love it. I'm going to leave it on the sideline for now. We may end up taking just because we don't have that many cards we can take. Real quick, let me check how many other ways we have to get mighty. That's our only way to get mighty. Okay, well in that case, that ups the value of that. The big thing that we don't have is we don't have any way to actually get adept, because Height of Knowledge shows up, but it only draws cards if we have adept. It doesn't give it to us. So adept is a bonus that increases the status we apply by 30%. And that's amazing on Rauden, and we just can't get it. Royal Conference is very good. Elemental Conflict is very good. Singularity is very good. So we get 2 more. I don't love Doom, but Doom isn't awful. The big thing is Morbid Overture is pretty medium. Because like we already have Dispel Magic, and a one-off shot of 50 damage in Depth 3 doesn't do as much as you would like a lot of the time. Blizzard is another way to give us just a big payoff for having a bunch of mana, along with Singularity. So I think we run the Flash Freeze because I don't love the other options. The other thing is here we can get like Charged Shield, which just gives us a way to get a shield card. I think I may take that over the Blizzard. Blizzard is fine. It doesn't do quite enough damage or quite enough frost, in my opinion, especially since, again, we can't get Adept to increase that. Icy Concentration is absolutely in. Mind Seed is absolutely in. Arcane Bolt is interesting. Again, we can't get Adept, which hurts it. But I think we leave it on the sidelines for now. We may revisit that later. Absolutely adding Icy Chains, absolutely adding Power Surge. This is weak in Frost for 1 mana is pretty good. This is powerful. Powerful is just incredible, especially with the Chilling Focuses. Cleansing Shield is also incredible. We're definitely adding that. Let's see what else. Regrowth is great. I go back and forth on Sharpened Senses. We'll see if we end up needing it. So one of the big things is like because we are pretty limited on our total cards, I will likely end up adding cards that I normally wouldn't, just because we don't have a bunch of choices. Until we hit level 4, I do want Mental Growth. So Mana Blossom's value depends a lot on whether or not the Wits and Mana Boost you're already stacking. So I think it goes down in value if you're already running the Predicts, because that increases the amount of time until like you're actually using these up. But if we aren't going to have that, I do still want at least 2 more mana cards in the pool, which may be why I may end up adding it, because I just want 2 more mana. I think we add the Focus and we add the... we're not going to have any... We aren't going to really have any strikes. What strikes do we even have? Oh, that's not the button. This button. Yeah, there's not that many strikes in the basic card pool. So I don't see myself adding any of these, which means that I am hesitant. Like, obviously we can pick up strikes, like we picked up the last rating strike in the last run. I think we will go ahead and try that. And we just need to find 11 more cards. I think the Arcane Bolt makes it in just because I need to fit cards in. We are definitely running Contemplate. Contemplate's actually pretty good. Introspection is pretty good as a thing we can pick up later. I don't think we're ever going to want to pick up a second Infuse. I could maybe see us picking up another Ice Blast. I could maybe see us picking up like 1 Treasure Hunt. And second Hobble is okay a lot of the time. Hone seems okay. Regeneration's okay. I would only put Invigorate in that spot, but we don't have it, so that works. I guess we take that. So yeah, we just are having to make tough choices because we have to fill in a lot of cards without that many cards to pick from. So we need 3 more cards. Do we have any... What do we have in the way of damage that we've added so far? We haven't added any damage. So the big thing with damaging cards, and part of why I don't tend to add as many from the generic card pool, is that the way that costs work out is that generic cards get a +0 base cost. So let's... the best example here is to look at Slash. So slash is, for 2 mana, you do 6 damage. That is kind of the basic cost to output that you get. So since this is common, you get exactly 2 mana worth of value for your 2 mana card, and it's going to deal 6 damage. Then you look at what you get at this level. So you have, the trick is, like, we don't have that many damaging cards, so it's hard to make these comparisons. But so this is actually a good comparison. So like Triple Strike is a common and does 3x3. Gold cards get to be worth 2 extra mana worth of damage, so 2 extra mana worth of value. So it still does 3x3 for the same cost, but now it does it to all enemies instead of just the first enemy. Likewise, like, technically 50 is worth, math is hard, stay in school. Let's see, 48 is 16. So technically this is like 17 mana worth of damage. Like, this is technically a phenomenal deal on the damage, with the obvious downside that you hash pointed at one target. So that's actually a bad example, because like this is just way more damage than you normally would get for that cost. It's just that, which is also, by the way, the reason that Singularity is worth taking, even though it is so much mana, is that it is a bunch of mana, but it is so much more damage than you would normally get. Like, Frost Fracture is a lot closer. Like, it is, 6 times 3 is 18. We get 20 damage. So we're getting like a slight bargain, especially with that guaranteed crit, which is 50%, which is like 30 damage. But if you factor in the guaranteed crit, this becomes a lot closer. This actually becomes a direct... So basically, Singularity is the same rate as Frost Fracture, except you just always get the extra damage. And it can still crit. Like, this bonus damage is assuming you crit. Like, if we pick up a Hone, so we have 50% chance to crit, then Frost Fracture loses, like... If we have a 50% chance to crit already, then Frost Fracture, half of the time, we didn't get anything extra. Anyway, we still need to find 30 more cards. This is okay, I guess. This is okay if we end up with plus strike damage items. Oh, sorry, but to finish my thought on why I tend not to take that many damaging cards in my card pool, is that almost every monster, there are a lot of monster cards where what the card the monster drops does is basically just deal some damage for your cost. And every one of monster cards gets to deal 1 mana more worth of damage. So like that last Radiant Strike we had, it was 2 mana and it did 4x2 damage, and it applied Vulnerable too, because it just got to be better than Slash because it's a monster card. And the Evading Strike that we got from the Swift Strike that we got from the Elite, it did 3x2 and evade 1, because again, monster card, it just gets to be better. And so now, because there's so many monster cards that drop damage, like regardless of what path you take, you can pretty much count on finding a good number of damaging cards from the monsters. So you don't have to necessarily stress too much about making sure your card pool includes a lot of damage. But because the flip side of that is, because so many monster cards are just random damage, you have to make sure like the utility is coming from your card pool, because you won't get growth out of monster cards. You won't get adept out of monster cards. You can get mighty, although there's only a couple monsters that will drop it. We happened to get one of them. There are like 2 monsters that can drop cards that give mighty. There's the Forest Guardian, which will always give you something with mighty, and then there is the Chimera drops the other thing that gives mighty, the Chimera form. But yeah, so Sharpened Senses is okay. It's an okay defensive card. It's not my favoriteest, but it's fine. Likewise, this is a fine defensive card, because it's just a decent amount of shield. I still don't love it. Do we have any ways to get tough? We have no ways to get tough either. No adept, no tough. Oof. Oof. Yeah, which is just the downside to not opening any packs, is that there are so many things that I would love to have access to here that I don't. I don't know why this card's just so bad. So because I was talking about like damage. So this card, you have to draw it and not play it once in order for, so if you have to play it the first time you draw it, it is worse than Magic Blast, okay? Because this is 4 mana for 8 damage. So you draw this, and then you just stare at it, because if you play it, you're sad. So that's just like, it just does just straight up a nothing card in your hand. And then the next time you draw it, you get 16 damage, which is 6 more than a Magic Blast, but that means that like you're paying 1 extra mana for 6 more damage, but like if you had the Drain Life, like the Drain Life is 6 mana for 15, and you heal 4, so like this isn't a crazy deal. Like you're saving 2 mana there and you're getting like 1 more damage, but you had to wait a turn of holding this dead card. And if you don't play it, you have to not play it again then for it to get to 24, which point it's actually good. But you've also then had to have drawn it 3 times, which means the fight has to have gone pretty long. And that's 3 turns in which you drew a damaging card that you just didn't need. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan. Tempo Strike is kind of tempting because it is AoE. I think that's probably the play. This is probably worth having. Because having some shield is good. I tend to underrate shield. Because we can't get tough, it's probably worth having. I do like the idea of having access to AoE. This is technically some amount of card draw, which is the big reason I picked it. This card is so bad. It's only 5 damage, and then like the burn 2 is okay, but like it's so slow to get this 15 to all enemies. Like, no, that's bad. No, that's not good. And the other thing with like really low damage numbers is spell damage, the bonuses are percentages. So like if you have plus 20% spell damage, that's 1 more damage. Fireball with plus 20% spell damage is 6. Fireball with Mighty is 6. Hooray! The reason, whereas strikes, the reason I considered Stinging Strike is partially because like those rune cards that we played with in the first run. The other reason is that with Stinging Strike doing because strikes do a flat bonus damage, Stinging Strike, if we had an item that gives +1 damage, would be oh, somebody popped in briefly over there. Stinging Strike would have been like immediately get +4 damage if we get anything that's like +1 strike damage. So yeah, I think this is going to be it for this video, because this has been about an hour. This seems like a good place to stop. I may record another one right away. I may not, but I'm going to. But this is it for now. So that is where my deck list is at for for my next run. Yeah, we will get. So we won't get any more cards from the card packs, but we will get eventually additional character cards at higher levels. All right. Bye.